In 1988, Demi Moore's husband, Bruce Willis, became a megastar after the release of his action thriller, Die Hard. Demi bristled at the idea of being known as Mrs. Willis. Ambitious and driven, Demi was eager to find her role of a lifetime. In the summer of 1988, Demi Moore had a healthy distraction from work: pregnancy.
With a very wonderful, loving, beautiful woman that I want to have a baby with. And I think that's, more than anything, really helped us, to decide.
We spent so much of our time getting to know each other, talking about how, in the future we really wanted to have children.
Yeah.
And it's just an incredible time for me personally, and I think for us together.
As her due date approached, Moore joined Willis in Kentucky, where he was shooting the film In Country. Demi had very specific ideas about how she wanted to produce their child.
She didn't want any drugs, she didn't want any painkillers. She wanted Bruce there. She also wanted a group of friends there. And she said that at the time, the one thing that she wanted to experience was how a baby is coming out of the human body.
And Demi wanted to witness the birth over and over.
One of the things that Demi was very concerned about was, is the video camera rolling? And I think they'd set video cameras up from 3 different angles.
Rumer Glenn Willis was born camera ready on August 16th, 1988. Demi took her role as mother very seriously.
I think the lasting effect on Demi from that difficult childhood is what you see today, a very devoted mom who's not going to make the same mistake. She's not going to repeat the mistakes that her mom made and her father made.
Demi was so proud to be a parent that she shared her birthing video with celebrity pal Rita Wilson. Demi thought the tape would inspire Wilson for a role she had to play.
You do forget what it's like when you have a baby. And so Demi had brought some of her tapes of her birthing. I think it was Rumer. And she brought it, and we watched it in her trailer, and I said to Demi, we can't use this. Look how calm you are. She's like, oh, baby's born. She was like very, very, calm about her childbirth.
As Demi balanced motherhood with career, a script came her way that fired her imagination. It was the supernatural tale of a woman who has one last chance to reconnect with her lover after he is murdered. Demi auditioned for director Jerry Zucker and got the part opposite Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg. But during production, Demi reportedly battled with the filmmaker.
She fought Jerry Zucker, some say to the cutting room, all the way because of the character. She wanted Molly to be very strong and not sort of weak or weepy.
Maybe Ghost shows that you shouldn't let the leading lady have too much say over the writing of movies, because I think the toughness doesn't work in a love story like that. I think maybe that's the reason why people like her in that role the best, because she was playing a character that was against type, because her type is very tough.
But Zucker later said in an interview that Demi's input, however difficult it was to hear, made Ghost a better movie. Released in July 1990, the $15 million film was not expected to be a runaway success. But Ghost became one of the most talked about movies of the year.
Well, I think Ghost is still the defining movie in her career, not only because it's made hundreds of millions of dollars and has become this iconic part of, American pop culture. I mean, to the point where it's been lampooned, a million times.
It showed people a different level to my work, a deeper, more emotional aspect, and on a more lasting. Being in a film that so many people see, obviously, is only a boon to your career. Increases your value on a box office level. That dirty word.
Demi enjoyed the acclaim and loved the star treatment even more. She traveled only by private jet, with her own entourage of assistants, makeup, wardrobe, and a bodyguard.
She would only sit for photographs by approved photographers.
Maybe in the long run, it might not have been the best thing for her. For the moment, it was wonderful, but from that point forward, I think she thought, well, I am the center of the universe. I just made this, this incredibly popular movie. I can do no wrong.
I do derive a certain
pleasure that could be equated as power as, say, this film I think will do well, and that feeds the other areas of my life. It's only the interior that really, in the end, means something.
It also meant something at home, that Ghost surpassed Bruce's Die Hard sequel at the box office.
The great thing was that in 1990, when Ghost became such a big hit, she became the movie star of the family again. And it put them on more equal footing, and it probably helped her confidence and helped her look at her career with a lot more energy and self-assurance.
Demi Moore and Bruce Willis were not only hot, they were Hollywood's most powerful couple.
When you talk about the two of them together and being a power couple, it's a minefield, because once you've achieved that success, there are so many people who are trying to pull you down.
The tabloids began digging into Demi's past. They uncovered details about Demi's wild child escapades and her mother's drinking problems. Virginia was still struggling to stay sober, despite many rehab attempts. Demi repeatedly tried to help her mother financially, but their relationship finally broke down.
I think what happened, especially in that relationship, is Demi became the parent. That's what I felt talking to Virginia. I said, who's the parent here? I left that interview thinking, who's the parent? What happened in this relationship? The roles reversed in the 80s. And that's why Demi, I think, walked away. She didn't want to take care of her mom. I mean, she shouldn't have to.
Demi's mother was struggling to make ends meet, but not for long.
It was after the success of Ghost that her mother decided that there was most probably a buck or two to be made by telling the Wild Days story of her and Demi. And basically anybody who would pay the price for the story, Virginia would sell that story.
I think that almost no matter what she did, she was in a bad spot with her mother, because if her mother was an alcoholic, so if she gives her mother money, the mother just blows it all on booze, and I feel bad, that she had to go through this whole embarrassing ordeal.
Demi developed a thick skin. She became defiant and resilient. But as her career progressed, Demi needed all the strength she could muster. Coming up, Demi refuses to take a back seat.
A lot of times it's good to go out and seek material and develop material yourself.
And later, 40 and climbing, can Demi make a comeback?
The public may look at me and think, hey, why did we appear to turn our back on you? Where have you been? Or it's nice to have you back. You never know what the public are going to do.
By 1990, Demi Moore became an A-list actress thanks to the success of the romantic thriller Ghost. She also achieved the same star status as her famous husband, Bruce Willis. But Demi was also earning a reputation as a prima donna.
Too many questions, too serious. Okay.
In 1991, 28-year-old Demi Moore was determined to take control of her career. She started her own production company, Rough Glen Films.
I really like being involved in the whole process. I like developing material, and I kind of get to play out, another part of my interest, which is a more business side, as well as just having a little more control.
In the early 1990s, it was still rare in Hollywood for an actress to have her own production company.
Well, as somebody said to me, of all movies made, there's only 21% that is female-driven. There's many more actresses than there are good roles, and that's always going to be a dilemma. That's why a lot of times it's good to go out and seek material and develop material yourself, so you're not waiting around.
That became a model for other actresses. If an actress has a certain degree of success, the first thing she does, start a production company.
Demi's first project was Mortal Thoughts. She starred with her husband Bruce in the forgettable thriller.
Maybe that's why they never made another movie together, because I don't think anyone saw Mortal Thoughts. That's like a Trivial Pursuit question.
Demi liked the role of producer and was determined to succeed.
Again, I think it comes down to her desire to control her own image and to control her career. I don't think she ever wanted to have her strings pulled by somebody else. I think she always saw herself as someone who would have mastery over her own direction in Hollywood.
Demi didn't produce her next project, The Butcher's Wife, but she had her own ideas when it came to working with first-time film director Terry Hughes.
She's not the kind who's going to give them just what they want.
I'm certainly a perfectionist, and the person who gets compromised the most is myself.
But the studio was set to compromise on the future of the film.
The Butcher's Wife, long before it was released, looked like it was going to bomb, and the studio thought, well, the best way is to get it out quickly, put it on a wide release.
In the summer of 1991, Demi was in the last months of her second pregnancy. She agreed to appear in a photo spread for Vanity Fair magazine. Famed photographer Annie Leibovitz took the pictures. A few weeks later, on July 20th, 1991, daughter number 2, Scout LaRue Willis, was born. But Demi's appearance naked and pregnant on the August cover of Vanity Fair was the real hot topic. Some vendors were so outraged by the photo that they refused to sell the issue.
It wasn't my idea to put the brown paper wrapping on my cover. I just took the picture.
I thought it would get attention, but not controversy, and not strike a chord that seemed to provoke such deep emotions on both sides from people thinking it's, you know, a great move towards women's rights and freedom, to people thinking that it was disgusting and pornographic and repulsive, even.
I think the other idea is that you're using a pregnant woman as a naked pinup. It's like confusing fertility with sex or something. It's turning a pregnant woman into a sexual object, which I think disturbed a lot of people. I guess a lot of people don't think that pregnant women should have sex.
I think it's one of the most radical things that she's done, which is to say, my body is beautiful and motherhood is beautiful. Here she was, rich, young, beautiful, fit, and pregnant. That was the pinnacle.
I think the Vanity Fair cover was a revolution for actresses in Hollywood. It was a new step in using the media to your advantage. I think she took control of her image. She used everything she had, and that became the story. I mean, more people remember that Vanity Fair cover than remember The Butcher's Wife.
Once again, Demi raised the bar in Hollywood.
The pregnant Demi Moore.
You know what they used to do when stars got pregnant in Hollywood? They told them to go away until they had their babies, and then we'd see them out again. Well, Demi Moore with one picture showed that it was okay, and that it was glamorous. And now you see, you know, the Catherine Zeta-Joneses of the world. They're out there singing and dancing and looking sexy while being 8 3/4 months pregnant.
In October 1991, Demi and Bruce found another vehicle for self-promotion. They became partners with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in a restaurant venture called Planet Hollywood. Every opening of the celebrity-driven chain drew a horde of paparazzi.
We go in the restaurant, and it's fun, there's entertainment, and there's things that bring back great memories to you from, you know, many of the movies and television shows that you've seen. It's a great place to take your kids, and the food happens to be good.
I think they've been very savvy. I mean, I met them when they were together down at in Cancun, Mexico, where they were going for the opening of a Planet Hollywood. They were very cooperative, giving interviews. You know, he was singing with his band at the opening. But he, you know, they're also getting paid for that. This was basically work for them.
On and off the screen, Demi was a star who knew how to play the game.